May 1992, MTV launches a show that will change the face of television forever.
It was so fresh and new. Cameras following people in their daily lives.
This is the true story. True story.
7 strangers picked to live in a loft
and have their lives taped.
The real world.
The Real World on MTV was very groundbreaking at the time.
It was a social experiment about if you put people from different walks of life into one house, what's going to happen?
It was something that hadn't been done before.
There's no script. It's great. It was genius. Film it.
But when the cameras started to roll, network executives had second thoughts about how real reality should be.
Early on, the network was nervous about, well, what if nothing happens? What do we do? And they had this, like, well, make something happen. So there were a few times early on in the first couple of weeks of filming when we tried something.
Would you rather suffer a nerve injury that numbed your entire genital region or one that made you completely deaf?
Deaf.
Really?
It completely backfired, and the cast erupted and said, we're not in here for a game show. And they revolted and said, look, we're going to mutiny.
I'm an activist. If someone handed me a script, I'm like, I'm not reading this. You know, I'm not, why would I do that?
The proof was in the pudding. You could see that as we started filming more and more, you didn't have to manipulate anything because it was happening naturally.
Early in its first season, The Real World got very real and touched on the third rail of the American experience: race.
We were the only 2 home.
She said that I had knocked down a candlestick.
He lost it and became very angry.
That I had threatened her and stuff like that.
I became a little bit frightened and called, I called MTV.
I was actually in a cab on the way to Brooklyn, and someone said, you got to get back to the loft. Julie and Kevin just had this huge fight. Get back. So we turned right around and came back, and there they were in the middle of this argument.
Somehow or another, we ended up outside in front of the building, and it was just us and the camera crew.
We just kept filming, and suddenly we had a crowd of about 100 people around us.
When you listen, black people are emotional. That's my explanation.
White people are, oh my God.
Listen, when you
it's not a black-white thing.
He was constantly, pushing this whole black-white issue.
What are you gonna do, hit me?
No. And there you go, you said that yesterday. Why do you assume? Because I'm a black man, I'm gonna hit you? That's what you assume? Yes, you do.
I had very strong opinions, and she had very strong opinions from my background, from her background.
Racism is everywhere. That's my point. That's my point. What happened to Alabama?
Because of people like you, Kevin, not people like me.
Black people cannot be racist. Black people cannot be racist.
We didn't script that, we didn't manipulate it, and the story went down that way.
No writers, no actors, but plenty of drama. The Real World set a trend that has never stopped.
It invented our modern reality television, period.
Camera crews capture real life on The Real World. And the 90s is also the age of the handy cam. In LA, one of the most notorious home movies of all time captures the real-life beating of Rodney King.
They finally got him on tape. We had seen those kind of beatings. We had heard about them. Now somebody has it on tape.
The LAPD had carte blanche to pretty much do anything they wanted to do. The general rule, the common understanding was that you were going to get your ass beat. And that's what happened to Rodney King.
The amateur tape makes it on the local news, then national TV, and then plays around the world. Viewers everywhere are shocked.
How viral it went showed how powerful moving images from surveillance cameras and home video cameras would be in the 1990s in shaping events.
On the strength of the video evidence, 4 officers are arrested and tried.
Now, we're so naive, we believe we're going to get justice.
Anybody looking at the tape could see that this was not right, and yet the trial did not produce the kind of results that most people thought.
It was on tape right there for the whole world to see. How can they not get convicted?
The crime of assault by force likely to produce great bodily injury and with a deadly weapon. Not guilty.
I don't know that the black community expected fairness, but I don't think they expected the cops to get completely exonerated. They expected some guilty verdict.
that said something about our justice system relative to the African American.
There is no justice. There is no justice. There is no justice.
I don't think I was in control of myself because it was something that was just in my heart, and I think I was caught up in the kind of the psychological melee at the time of seeing this happen.
By having this verdict, what these people done, they lit the fuse to a bomb.
The screws were about to come loose. Everything was about to burst.